We are very happy to meet again, isn't it? You might have heard someone use that question tag with that statement I have just made. That is wrong. We are very happy to meet again. The question tag should be, aren't we? Question tags pose a lot of problems to many non native speakers and also sometimes native speakers. Because they are usually used in our conversations, we take them for granted. But it's good we get our question tags right in order to speak without blemish. In this discussion, we're going to discuss some of the basic rules that govern the use of question tags because question tags themselves are formulaic, which means they follow a particular formula like mathematics. And once you grasp the formula, you can go head on with question tags and overcome them. So let's ride on. Let's see some examples first. Example one, question tags are tricky and they. Example two, I should have written two there, but pardon me, I wrote number one there again. Reading makes me happy, doesn't it? Or doesn't it? We'll come to see even changes in intonation when it comes to question tags and what these changes mean. So these are examples of question tags. So let's roll right into the rules. Question tags are usually used in speech rather than in writing. Of course, we write question tags, but it is common in speech. So rule number two, a positive statement is followed by a negative question tag. What does it mean, positive statement? Any statement, a sentence, without not, N-O-T, or its contracted form, N apostrophe T, any sentence statement without that is positive. But if a statement has a not in it or its contracted form and apostrophe T in it, that statement is negative. So when there is no not in a statement, it is positive. Then if we have a positive statement, we have a negative question tag, which means in the question tag, there would be the contracted form of not, N apostrophe T. So for example, we are happy. There is no not in that statement. Then aren't we? Then there's the not contracted form in the question tag. Let us take note that the statement is separated from the tag with a comma. That's the way it's supposed to be. Rule number three, a negative statement is followed by a positive question tag. Now we know what a positive statement is and a negative one is. If it is positive, there is no not or its contracted form in it. If it's negative, we have a not or its contracted form in it. So negative statement, positive tag, positive statement, negative tag. This is a very simple rule everybody knows, I think. Now, if that is the case, we want to move on to another rule that auxiliary verbs or modals carry the question tag. So if you see in a statement verbs, auxiliary verbs like shall, should, will, would, may, might, must, can, could, anytime you see them in a statement, they will carry the question tag as easy as ABC, as simple as 1, 2, 3. As easy as do, re, mi. So let's take an example. We shall overcome. Shan't we? Now, shall is the auxiliary in the statement. So the tag has shan't we. So the contracted form of shall not we, you drop the double L and then you bring the contracted form of the not. Shan't we? Number two, he should have passed the interview. Shouldn't he? So should is the auxiliary there and should carries the question tag. We will not accept that lie. Will we? Will not. Negative. Will we? Positive. Daisy can speak Chinese. Can she? So can, will, should, shall, all of we can see in this statement end up carrying the question tag. That's very easy, isn't it? We're using question tags and teaching question tags, aren't we? Uh, that's it. Also, as in the case of the auxiliary verbs, the verb to be, which comprises am, is, was, are, and were, they also carry a question tag if they are used. So, I am not coming home. Am I? I am not coming home. Am I? If it is, I am coming home, it will be, and I will come to see that. I am not coming home. Am I? He isn't to blame. Is he? They were in the library, weren't they? He was told to come, wasn't he? We are the students of the day, aren't we? So anytime we see am, is, was, are, were in a statement, they carry the question tag as well, making it very easy. Then we move on to another one. The verb have also carries the tag have in its forms. The singular has, the plural have, and the past had. Anytime that they are used in a statement, they carry the question tag. So we haven't seen them yet. Have we? We haven't seen them yet. Have we? The tag would have nothing to do with seeing, but have everything. The tag would have everything to do with have. So we haven't seen them yet. Have we? Martin has all the times in the world, hasn't he? Hasn't he? We had children to take care of, hadn't we? So anytime you see has, have, had in a statement, they will carry the tag. But you could also see in some statement like, he would have come. He would have come. Of course, once you see an auxiliary, as we look at first, the auxiliary will carry the tag. The auxiliary is more powerful, let me put it that way, than any other verb. So if you see would have, you don't worry about the have, you think of the would. So auxiliaries all the time. No auxiliary, then you can think of the verb like have, has, had. Then there are also some words that are considered in themselves to be negative, just as if they have a kind of not in it. A word like nothing, hardly, seldom, barely, nobody, none, partially. Once these words do not depict full, F-U-L-L, but just to a degree, they are considered to be negative. So when you see them used in a statement, consider the statement to be negative, and therefore they would take, that statement would take a positive tag. So he seldom comes here, does he? So it's like he does not come here. He seldom comes here, does he? They hardly accept their mistakes. Today, nobody is allowed here. Are they? None spoke to the child, did they? Now take note that because of the use of the verb, anytime another word is used other than auxiliary verbs, the verbs has, have, had, anytime that any other verb is used, also apart from needs, so we can have needn't in some cases, pardon me, in some cases, any time that any verb is used, think if the verb is present, think of the verb do in the question tag. If the verb is past, think of did. If the verb is in the present tense and is a third person singular, think of does. So he seldom comes here, does he? Because he, the verb is comes. So coming is a kind of doing, isn't it? Then they hardly accept their mistakes, except. So do. Today, nobody is allowed here. Of course, is used. Nobody is allowed here. So because is used, you may be thinking of, would you say, is he or is she? Once it is a nobody, It encompasses both female and male. And the only pronoun that encompasses both at the same time is what? They. So nobody is allowed here. Are they? None spoke to the child. Did they? Because spoke is a past tense. So you think of did. But we have exceptions. The beautiful thing about English and many languages on earth is that there would be a rule, but there would be the breaking of the rule called exceptions. So, exception number one, am. Anytime we use am, when you go for the negative that I am not happy, you can say, am I? But when you go for the positive, you cannot use am in the question tag. So, I am very happy. Aren't I? You cannot say, I am very happy. Amn't I? Of course. You may be laughing. That's funny. Amn't I does not exist in English. I am very happy. Aren't I? But if you say, I am not very happy, you could say, am I? Of course, you can't say, are I? You know, it's just interesting. So that's an exception. So I am not happy. Am I? I am happy. Aren't I? So these are the exceptions. Then we also have, when we have a positive imperative, you don't worry, you just think of the verb will. And then if the imperative is positive, then of course you think of won't, will not. So get up and leave this place. Will you? Negative imperative, don't give up. Will you? Get up and leave this place. Won't you? Will you? In this case, get up and leave the place, you can use will you, won't you. Both are accepted. But in the case of the negative imperative, don't get up. You can't say won't you, will you. Get up, don't get up. Will you? Get up and leave this place. Will you? Won't you get up and leave this place? Because we know that question tags actually go for a yes or no answer. So when we have positive imperative, you have to think of will and won't. If you have a negative imperative, then will. Don't get up, will you? Don't speak to him again, will you? Once it is negative, will you? Another exception is when you use let us or let's. So let's speak to the chairman. Shall we? So you think of shall when you think of let's or let us. Let's speak to the chairman. Shall we? And then when we have there is or there are, depending upon the context, you use is or and. There are many awards to win, and there. You wouldn't use it. Once you have there appears in the question tag, interestingly. So there are many awards to win. You wouldn't say, isn't it? Or aren't it? It will be, aren't there? Yes, there are. No, there aren't. There isn't nothing to worry about. Is there? There isn't nothing to worry about. Is there? So anytime we see there is, there are, in the question tag itself, what we are going to deal with is or are, the question tag will repeat the there. Let's take note. Another interesting thing about question tags is that intonation matters. If the intonation goes high, there's a different meaning. If it goes low, there's another different meaning. So if you are sure of an answer and only seeking a confirmation, the intonation is the question tag, the intonation in the question tag goes down. That should be in. If you're sure of an answer and you're only seeking a confirmation, the intonation in the question tag goes down, which means you are sure of the answer, you're only seeking confirmation. So that's your son, isn't he? That's your son, isn't he? Take note, the tone comes down, isn't he? Nobody knows about that, do they? Do they? She's the best candidate we have, isn't she? So, isn't she? Do they? Isn't he? All these ones come down. It means I know the answer. It's almost rhetorical, but I seek a confirmation. So the tone goes down because I am sure of the answer. So the tone goes down. On the other hand, if you are not sure of the answer and you are actually trying to find out, then the tonation goes high or goes up. Shauna is very hardworking, isn't she? I want to find out. We can overcome that challenge, can't we? I want to find out. I'm not sure. I don't know the answer, I should say. Malcolm was a man of fiery courage, wasn't he? But if I am sure, Shauna is very hardworking, isn't she? I want confirmation. We can overcome that challenge, can't we? Malcolm was a man of fiery courage, wasn't he? So intonation counts a great deal. So all we need to do is to get to know this formula about question tags. And just like any other language aspect that we practice, practice is key. And when you listen to people make mistakes in question tags, please don't correct them on the spot. Don't do that. If you're free with the people, you can let them know later. But that could be a way to keep you alert that what you are learning, you're really having a grasp of it. That's what we have for question tags. Have a wonderful time. Bye bye.